Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am super pumped for today's video. Not only is this the first time that I've sat down and filmed any kind of like a makeup tutorial or any kind of makeup related content in a long time, but I also got the opportunity to show you guys a sneak peek of this brand new Sweet and Sticky palette by Give Me Glow Cosmetics. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of this brand, and I have had the opportunity, I think this is the third time now, to try out a new palette before launch date. This is a 6-pan palette. This is a warm neutral palette that's inspired by cinnamon rolls, which I think is pretty cool. Now, this is a 6-pan palette. It's got 4 mattes and 2 foiled shadows. It's definitely got that warm neutral kind of vibe to it, but not what we normally see from a warm neutral palette either. We have almost more like orangey, yellowy kind of tones, mixed in with a little bit of champagne and some rose gold. This palette is going to retail for $30 US, and it is going on sale at 8 a.m. on Black Friday. That's Central Standard Time, so if you're not sure where that is in your time zone, stick it in the Google machine and figure it out for yourself. And I'm excited to jump right into this palette, actually. Let me see if I have any clean brushes to work with here. I'm actually gonna do 2 different looks using this palette. And the reason for that is there's this shade Let's Get Baked, which is like a butter color up here at the top. And when I was looking at this online, and even when I got it in the mail yesterday, I wasn't quite sure about it. But then the more that I thought about it, I'm like, you know, I do have a way that I can use that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 looks. But I do wanna play around with that shade, but not today. I'm starting with the shade Dem Buns Dough. This is a nice, almost, not a khaki colored brown, almost more like a maple colored brown transition tone. And I'm gonna get that going in here as my transition shade. I love the Give Me Glow formula. You guys have seen them here on my channel before. I've got so many of their shadows, and I really love all of them. I've actually been using one of their matte eyeshadows called Mushroom as a hairline contour color, and underneath my jaw, I think it's like that perfect like shadow color. And I was almost out of it, and Brandy, the owner of Give Me Glow, she was nice enough to send me a bunch of backups of Mushroom. So I will have enough of that to last me for probably a couple of years. So thank you so much to Brandy if you're watching this. It was very much appreciated. Yeah, this is a really nice transition shade. It's matte, it's pigmented, it's easily blendable like all of their other shadows are. Let's get that going on the other side here as well. I'm really glad that more like neutral eyeshadows are kind of becoming popular again. I mean, I know that it won't last long because I feel like makeup trends are just like any other trends. They come and go so quickly. I mean, people are probably already complaining about all of the neutral palettes that have come out in the last few months, and they're like ready for something else. But you know, as soon as like that something else comes out, they're gonna get sick of that really quick too. I feel like a good neutral palette is always gonna be a staple. It's classic shades, you know, so I had to adjust my focus on my app that I filmed through because I realized it had been so long since I've done this that I kind of had things going backwards. So hopefully things weren't getting too blown out there while I was applying this first shade. I don't ever do Black Friday. I've actually never been out Black Friday shopping. I mean, I don't really do like Christmas shopping anyway, because I honestly don't really do Christmas that much. I mean, I figure I'm not Christian, I'm not any religion, so I don't celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or any of those holidays from like a religious standpoint. I don't have any kids, so I don't have to do like the Santa and all of that kind of stuff. And honestly, I'm just like really selfish. So if I'm gonna spend money on anybody and if I'm gonna buy anybody presents, it's gonna be myself. But that's kind of where I keep my shopping anyway. And I mean, if there's any kind of like good deals on like, you know, makeup brands that I like or anything like that, I might pick up a few things for myself, but overall, Black Friday doesn't really ever do much for me. So that is Dem Buns dough, all blended out. Really pigmented, easily blendable, not patchy, not chunky. And another thing that I appreciate about Give Me Glow is that you know that there's consistency across the board when it comes to their shadows. Every single palette is the exact same quality, it's the same formula. I don't know if they ever switch around the formula, but even if they do, you would never know because they all perform the same. There's no like guessing like, oh, is this palette gonna be as good as the last one? But it's going to be, it always is. Now I'm gonna go in and deepen things up with They See Me Rollin', just taking the tiniest bit on my brush and then tapping off the excess. A little goes a long, long way with these shadows. They definitely do kick up a lot of powder when you are dipping your brush in. But again, if you're worried about that, either do your eyes first or lay down enough powder to catch any of that fallout. And I love that they included a shade like this because this is that one that I talk about all the time. That really, really deep, dark. It's not black. It's not brown. It's not red. It's not purple. It's kind of got enough warmth in it that you can use it with warm looks, but you can also use it with cool looks and it works just as well. I can always use a shade like this. And what I think is really cool about the color story of this palette is that it's warm neutral, but if you really look at the undertones of the colors, they're all just kind of a little bit different from each other, but then they seem like they'll all play really well together, you know what I mean? This is what I like to see in a color story. It's got variety and it's cohesive. It's got both. And I'm probably gonna blow this out pretty big, but I want to start a little bit closer to my eye, and that way I can like kind of build it and blow things out without the really dark shadow just completely taking over everything. I still want you to be able to see that maple tone underneath this. And if I go in too heavy-handed and if I blow it out too big too quick, then I just look like a panda, you know? I think it's cool that they took inspiration from cinnamon rolls on this one because I feel like a lot of companies do like food themed stuff, but it's like the packaging will be like a hamburger or a taco or like whatever it is. And then you open it up and then the color story inside the palette has nothing to do with the food that they allegedly took inspiration from. Where with this one, like this morning, I actually baked some cinnamon rolls because I wanted to get some cool product shots, you know? And when I was looking at this palette next to the cinnamon rolls, like the colors were exactly the same. They were spot on. So that's how you do a food theme palette. Taking a little bit more of that first color and just kind of blending the two together right underneath my eyebrow here because I always like my shadow to kind of go up into the eyebrow. Like I don't like to leave a gap of like lighter between the brow and the shadow. And that's just me, but I would like to again marry those two shades together and just kind of press them up into the front part of the brow. And let's get that on the lower lash line. I'm taking a really teeny tiny brush. This is a Morphe M213. And I recently, probably within the last like 6 months or so, started using this brush to apply my darkest shade along the lower lash line. And then I'll kind of blend it out from there with a pencil brush because I find that sometimes with these really deep shades, if I go in with a pencil brush to apply it, it's almost like the pencil brush is a little too big and it kind of explodes shadow out everywhere, especially like down here in this area. And then you kind of end up with an eyeshadow shape that has more of like that droopy outer corner. I need to really get up in here so I can actually see what it is that I'm doing. I'm packing on more of that darkest shade because I really do want this to be a pretty dramatic look here today. Now, with my eyes being as deep set as they are, and due to the fact that they get more and more hooded every single day, I need to take that darker color like way up above my natural crease to really make my eyes appear bigger. I mean, you can see already the difference between this one and then where this one is just really low in the crease. I really like to pack that depth right in here and then bring it way up here above. So again, my natural crease is here, and then I definitely have some hooding starting to happen over top of that. So if I take my darkest shadow kind of above that hood, everything just looks a little less droopy and saggy. You know, I thought that I was gonna save $375 for my second look, but I think I do wanna use just a touch of it to warm up just kind of in this area here. I might as well play with as much of these colors as I can in one look and then just, you know, see how they blend together. But I do think I want to add just a touch of warmth in a few areas here. Okay, so let's move on to the lid shade. Now, what I love about the Give Me Glow foiled formula is that you don't need to use a glitter primer. You can just stick your finger in there, wipe it on your lid, and it looks on your lid the exact same way that it does in the pan. They have almost like that creamier formula about them, but they don't crease. They don't get gunky and weird on your lid throughout the day. Even on someone like me who, again, I've got deep set eyes, I've got hooded eyes, I've got folds and shit, and I also have oily skin, so I have so much shit going against me, and I don't have to worry about any of that crazy shit happening with their foiled formula. So this is Sweet Cinnamon Latte. I'm taking that on my finger, and boom, like it's immediately just really pigmented. It's immediately foiled. It's definitely very metallic and reflective. Again, without having to use a glitter primer, and you can't say that about most brands. I can kind of blend that edge out a little bit there with a clean finger. Don't have to use a brush at all. God, that's so fucking pretty. This shade is almost like halfway between, say, a champagne and a rose gold. It's not either one. It's almost kind of both of those shades. I don't have anything like this in my collection, but I just want to take that on a smaller brush and kind of cut my crease a little bit, because again, I'm kind of having to fake my facial structure. Let's be honest, I've been faking my face for a long time now, but I've been doing my eyes like this quite a bit lately, and I think it's really just kind of helping to open up my eyes a little bit and, you know, kind of fake an eyelid when you don't really have that much lid space to work with. And then I think I'm gonna run a little bit of that shade along, not the entire lower lash line, but just kind of in this area here. So when I pop in my inner corner highlight, it kind of has a transition. It has something to kind of blend into before you get into just like this dark matte shade down here. And since I'm applying that with a brush instead of a finger, it's gonna be a little bit less intense right here than it is on my lid. So for the inner corner, I am going to use this other shimmer shade called Icing Drip. And this looks like, let me finger swatch it so we can really see what that's gonna look like. It looks like kind of a white shimmer on the finger here. Let me do one of these. Yeah, that is really reflective reflective. That is really blinding. I would call this like an icy champagne tone. I think that this might actually work really good on my skin tone as like a highlighter on my cheekbone and those areas. Although I haven't really been wearing highlighter a lot lately, because what I noticed is when you're wearing a mask all day, you know, the mask kind of sits up here, right? Well, it inevitably ends up moving your highlighter around. And if you're like taking your mask off at all during the day and then putting it back on, what I did notice is that highlighter kind of ends up all over your face, but like in areas where it doesn't actually belong. So like I noticed a few times that I would have like a smear of highlighter kind of above my lip, but kind of just like meh, like over here. And so I definitely was not a fan of what that was doing. And so I pretty much just stopped wearing highlighter in real life. I'll wear it on camera and I'll wear it when I'm making like videos and stuff. I'm not gonna use a highlighter today because I am working today. And so again, I'm gonna be wearing a mask all day. So I don't want that to get messy and gross later on. And so I'm gonna go ahead and skip that step. But has anybody else noticed that with highlighter and wearing a mask? Because I definitely noticed it the few times I tried to wear it. I think I do want to take just a touch of 375, which is almost like that cinnamon kind of tone. Then just kind of hit down here a tiny bit. So I do have a little bit of warmth on the underneath side as well. So I finished the look up with Coffee Pencil by MAC on the waterline. Two different kinds of mascaras because, you know, I'm extra like that. And then I also used, this is new from Give Me Glow. This is their Vivid Lip Paint in the shade Liquid Kitty. I think this comes in two formulas. I think it comes in a liquid lipstick that dries down matte and also a lip gloss formula. They came in various shades that I think were all more on the nude spectrum. I was drawn to the Liquid Kitty shade. Now that it's on my lips, I don't know that the actual shade is that flattering for me. I think it's a little lighter and a little bit more like warm peach toned than I thought it was gonna be, but I do like the formula of it. It's really thin, it's really slippery, not sticky at all. It doesn't feel like your traditional like MAC lip glass formula or anything like that. I would like to try out some other shades of this, but again, I'm not sure that I'm really feeling the color all that much, but this is how this look turned out. I am going to do a second look with this palette. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, which for you guys will be in just a few seconds. So stay tuned if you wanna see a second look. All right, so look number two. Let's jump into the color in this palette that I was really unsure about when I first saw this, and definitely when I first saw it in person. This color here called Let's Get Baked. This is definitely straight up the color of butter. So I am going to take that on a fluffy brush, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop that right into the inner corner. I'm gonna have a nice buttery pop right there in the center. I normally would put my inner corner highlight in at the end, but with what I'm doing for this look, I was afraid that doing that would just kind of make things muddy since I am gonna be going in with something deeper, darker, dramatic. I wanted this to go on first and then just kind of blend everything else kind of down into this area. You know what, let me get this hoodie off before I go any further here because it is definitely getting warm. I've got these lights on and that heats me up. I've got the heater going over there and that's heating me up. So let's get some orange in there. I'm gonna go into the shade 375. And this is gonna be a pretty quick one. I'm just gonna use 3 shades for this look. Something smoky, blown out, but really, really basic, really simple. I mean, I usually will go in and use use like way too damn many colors of eyeshadow for a look. I mean, and it works, it looks really cool, but sometimes just going in with like 2 or 3 colors, it's so much faster, it's so much easier, and I think it can have the same amount of impact as if you use like 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors of shadow on your lids, you know? And then I'm gonna wipe this smaller brush off on a paper towel. I need to wash some brushes tonight. That needs to be the project after I'm done filming this, and then I'll edit this video tomorrow. But yeah, my brushes are just all filthy. But since these brushes were used with this palette yesterday, I figured it was fine. I could just wipe them off really quick and reuse them. And then we will go ahead and give everybody a bath. Yeah, this is a really nice fall themed palette. And I think that I just always really gravitate toward a fall themed color story. And really, even like the colorful shadows that I go for are usually a little bit more of like a dirty rainbow or kind of like grungy, something that has a fall vibe anyway. And I tend to use those year round, but this is definitely very like season appropriate. So, and kind of blow that out and make it a nice base for the darker shade that I'm gonna lay right over top of it. All right, and then to really deepen things up, we're gonna go into They See Me Rollin', which I used yesterday to really deepen up the crease and the under eye and all of that stuff. But today I'm actually going to use it on the lid. I'm gonna start by pressing and packing that directly onto the lid. And then from there, I'm pretty much just going to blow this out and smoke this up into the 375 degree shade. Okay, so off camera, I finished things up with some liner and mascara like always. I also wanted to use the shade Icing Drip as a highlighter and see how that worked on my skin tone. And it's really icy. It almost wants to have a little bit of that gray cast to it, but it's not so bad that I can't wear it. I actually think that it looks really pretty. And again, I haven't been wearing highlighter at all lately because a mask just really kind of fucks it up and takes it to other parts of your face where it doesn't need to be highlighted. And so since I'm just hanging around my house tonight anyway, I really wanted to put some highlighter on just because it's been so long. And I really wanted to give the Vivid Lip Paint another try because on its own, I just wasn't really feeling the color for me. But the formula is really, really nice and slippery. And the smell, I don't know what the smell is. It's really sweet, almost like cake or something. But I wanted to try it with a lip liner today and see if it worked better for me. So I used the Whirl lip liner from MAC, which is one of my favorite lip shades for me. And then I just popped the Vivid Lip Paint right in the center and blended it out. And I fucking love it. So Liquid Kitty on its own is not my perfect nude, but paired with a lip liner, it's really, really nice, and I'm definitely going to be wearing this one a lot. This Sweet and Sticky palette, fucking love it. I love it because it's cohesive, all of the shades work really well together, and I think you can come up with a couple different kinds of looks in this palette. It's not a one-trick pony, you know? But let's be honest, I knew I was going to love this palette. I love a neutral color story. I think this was a different take on a warm neutral. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Thank you so much to Brandy and Give Me Glow for sending this out and letting me try this before it launches on Black Friday. Again, that's going to be 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it retails for $30 US. But again, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.